Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a kind and beautiful girl named Cinderella. She lived with her wicked stepmother and two selfish stepsisters, who treated her as a servant in her own home. Despite the hardships she faced, Cinderella remained gentle and hopeful, dreaming of a life filled with joy and love. In one day, a royal proclamation was issued throughout the kingdom. The king and queen were hosting a grand ball in honor of their son, Prince Charming, who was searching for his future bride. Every eligible maiden in the land was invited to attend. Cinderella's heart soared with excitement at the thought of attending the ball, but her hopes were shattered when her stepmother forbade her from going and gave her more chores to do instead. As the day of the ball approached, Cinderella's stepsisters spent hours preparing their finest gowns and adornments. Cinderella, feeling dejected, retreated to the garden to find solace among the flowers. She wept softly, longing for a chance to experience the magic of the ball. Suddenly, a shimmering light appeared before her, and a kind old woman emerged from the glow. It was Cinderella's fairy godmother, who had come to grant her wish. With a wave of her magic wand, the fairy godmother transformed a pumpkin into a magnificent carriage, mice into splendid horses, and a tattered dress into an exquisite gown. But there was one final touch, the most beautiful pair of diamond shoes Cinderella had ever seen. The shoes sparkled like stars, and she could hardly believe her eyes. "Remember, my dear," the fairy godmother said, "the magic will only last until midnight. You must leave the ball before the clock strikes 12. Cinderella nodded gratefully, promising to heed her fairy godmother's advice. Cinderella arrived at the ball, and her entrance took everyone's breath away. Prince Charming, captivated by her grace and beauty, asked her for a dance. As they twirled around the grand ballroom, it felt as if they were the only two people in the world. Cinderella's heart swelled with happiness, and she cherished every moment she spent dancing with the prince. As the evening wore on, Cinderella lost track of time. Suddenly, she heard the clock begin to chime midnight. Panic-stricken, she remembered her fairy godmother's warning. She hurriedly excused herself and dashed out of the ballroom, leaving Prince Charming confused and desperate to know her identity. In her haste, Cinderella lost one of her diamond shoes on the palace steps. She continued running, leaving the shoe behind as the magic of her transformation began to fade. By the time she reached home, she was once again dressed in rags. Her grand carriage and horses returned to their original forms. The next morning, the kingdom buzzed with the news of the mysterious girl who had captured the prince's heart. Prince Charming, determined to find her, issued a decree that he would marry the maiden whose foot fit the diamond shoe. He and his guards traveled from house to house, trying the shoe on every young woman in the kingdom. When they arrived at Cinderella's home, her stepsisters eagerly tried to force their feet into the shoe, but it was no use. The shoe did not fit. As the prince was about to leave, he noticed a beautiful girl standing quietly in the corner. Despite her humble appearance, there was something familiar about her. He asked if she could try on the shoe. Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters scoffed, but the prince insisted. As Cinderella gently slipped her foot into the shoe, it fit perfectly. The prince's eyes lit up with joy as he recognized her as the enchanting maiden from the ball. Overcome with happiness, Cinderella's fairy godmother appeared once more, transforming her rags into the beautiful gown she had worn at the ball. The prince took Cinderella's hand and declared his love for her vowing to make her his bride. Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters, filled with envy and regret, begged for her forgiveness. With her kind heart, Cinderella forgave them, though she chose to start a new life away. Prince Charming and Cinderella were married in a grand ceremony, and the kingdom rejoiced. The diamond shoes, now a symbol of their love, were placed in a special glass case in the royal palace, where they sparkled as a reminder of the magical night that brought them together. Cinderella and Prince Charming lived happily ever after, ruling the kingdom with kindness and wisdom. They often visited the garden where Cinderella had first met her fairy godmother, grateful for the magic that had changed their lives forever. And so, the tale of Cinderella and the diamond shoe became a beloved legend, passed down through generations, teaching children the values of kindness, hope, and the belief that dreams can come true. And here, the story ends. Hope you enjoyed it and wish you a nice time.